I'm Steve Kunselman, and this is your Broken Top Tip of the Week. Today I'd like to talk with you about distance control with your wedge game. This is one of the things that's hardest to control, is the amount of distance that you give your individual approach shots with the wedge. Now, I'd like to tell you a little bit about what tour players do to control their speed and control their distance. One of the main things that they do is they control their ball flight. On average, a tour pro will take a 54 or 56 degree wedge and launch it at about 30 degrees. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would you want to launch the ball low with your wedge? The reason is very simple. If you have to expend a lot of energy to get the ball to the hole, you're going to be less accurate with your distance. But if you can expend less energy, you can get a little bit more precise with how far you hit the ball. Now, what we need is the ball to stop within a reasonable distance once it lands. So we're just going to use some of the ball flight mechanic laws to create spin and hit a reasonably low wedge shot that stops within about 2 to 4 yards. Now I'm going to show you one way that a lot of tour pros do it. It's not the only way, and like everything else, there's a different ways to get the job done. But here's a common way that tour pros tend to pitch the ball. What they'll do is they'll start with a little bit of shaft lean in their setup. So the ball will be in the middle, and there'll be about 4 to 6 degrees shaft lean at address. And that'll come primarily by putting a little bit more weight on the lead foot. If you're a right-hander, then that's on your left foot. And then what they'll do is during the backswing, as soon as they start angling the club, on average, they'll move about 4 to 5 inches with their entire spine or head towards the target. And that creates a bit more shaft lean. So maybe a total of about 15 to 16 degrees of shaft lean will be created through that. Now we've brought our 56 degree launch angle down to about 40. But I just told you that the average launch angle on tour is about 30. So that the way they're doing that is they're using a tournament golf ball, like a Titleist Pro V1 or a TP5. These are balls which have a lot of spin, or the ability to take on spin, because of the cover. And that allows, through the coefficient of friction, the ball to basically be gripped by the grooves as the club is moving down, and that reduces the starting height of the ball even more. And that's how we get to our 30 degrees. Now, you don't have to launch the ball 30 degrees, but somewhere within 25 to 35 is going to be a good launch angle to control your distance well. Okay, let's give it a go. So that came out at about 30 degrees, and that's spun reasonably well. Well, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next week.